session, we will come to the final session in which I will be one of the presenters. I have put myself at the end as well as some of my team. So we would like to invite Professor Mursal Haidara to chair the session. Sir, are you available?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's great. The video are wonderful. And it is great opportunity that you are.
Yeah, thanks God.
Thanks God. Yeah, yesterday it was somehow there was some glitches. That's why you couldn't manage chairing the session of yesterday. And Professor Shanabas replaced you, and today you are replacing him. So it will be my honor that you will chair the session where I will do my presentation. Thank you, sir. So with this, we would like to.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would like to introduce Dr. Mursal Haidara. As long as yesterday there was another person assigned to introduce him. Dr. Haidara, he got his bachelor degree from Ib University in Yemen, that is in the middle of Yemen. And for his master's and PhD, he has got that from University of Madras in Chennai. And this is not a surprise. You can find out that a big number of Yemeni English professors are graduated from all around India. So Professor Haidara is a graduate from Madras University in Chennai, and he has been a teacher in the department where I am currently teaching, that is Department of English at the Faculty of Education at Thamar University in Yemen for 2 years. And he has been also an English literature lecturer at the Department of English, the Faculty of Education in Sana'a University, the capital of Yemen, from 2014 to 2016. And currently and presently, he is the director of the Language and Translation Center at Sabah University, which we call in English Shiba Region University in Marib, Yemen. He has a good number of publications to his credits, and he has participated in various national and international seminars and conferences like today and workshops. You are most welcome, dear sir, and you are going to chair the session. I hope that the list is with you. So, the fourth presenter will be Professor Shanabas. He is already available on the dial. And Faisal An'am, I hope that he is available. Faisal?
Yeah, I'm still alive, sir. Yes.
Very fine, very fine. You are still alive until this time. But we have to make it a vibrant session because our audience, our participants are waiting from the morning. And me, Amin Al-Jammal, the third one. And we will have also Dr. Sajina Shukur, the fourth one. All the 4 people are available. So please come to the dais and Professor Mursal Haidara will chair the session.
By the disruption that I have caused yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So we will start. Our, our first speaker, I think, is Professor Shanabas, Professor and Head, Department of Linguistics, University of Kerala. He will give a presentation on the role of linguistics in ELT. Is Doctor available?
Yes, he is available. And he is the boss of this department, in fact. He is the
yes,
head
yes,
of the
he's the head. Yes.
So now we are sharing his
can you start, Doctor? Yes.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Professor Mursal Haidara from Yemen, who is chairing my session. I am presenting a topic titled The Role of Linguistics in Language Teaching. Let's go. Linguistics and applied linguistics argue that language teachers need to learn about the theories and research findings generated by linguists and applied linguistics. Language teachers should be aware of the principle of speech production and speech phonetic principle. Teachers should be aware of the principles of word formation in English or any language. They should be aware of such pattern as D or S alternation in words like evade or evasive, conclude or conclusive. Teachers should be aware of the certain phonetic placement regulation involving the suffixes written Y or etc. Then the question is, what linguistics does? Linguistics help teachers convey the original words and the languages, the historical application and their modern day relevances, the structure and meaning of word or speech, the structure of clause, phrase or sentences, written language and variants, dialect or regional dialect variations like region or class or caste, understanding of the context in which certain words are used, that is environment or something like that. Then there is a concept called language change, understanding how language can change and how dialects vary in their phonological rules provide teachers with insight into the pronunciation pattern of learners in a classroom. Like we have a lot of language varieties for even English. We have American English, British English, African English, Arab English or something like that. Then explanation for the consistent difficulties that language students experience in speaking or something like that. Then we have a concept called sociolinguistic that teach language considering social-linguistic aspect. That means the sociology of linguistics or the linguistics of a society, non-standard dialect or sociolect. Then pragmatic means the aspects of language in a particular situation. The language teachers and applied linguists, language teachers are often called applied linguists. Language and education, which include both first and second language acquisition or language learning or language teaching. Also on aspects of language impairment such as dyslexia, dysgraphia and so many things. What do applied linguists do? Developing theories and models, mediating and implementing that theories to make useful for a language teacher, analyzing language for pedagogical application, carrying out research into learning and teaching. There are concepts like behaviorism and structuralism. Behaviorism is deeply affected on American linguistics of that time. What resulted was a type of linguistics known as structural linguistics. Structural linguists believed that the best way to master a new language was through repetitive practice with various language structures or sentence patterns. Learning a language required the learner to form speaking habit that conformed to the structure of the target language. The native language and the target language have a separate linguistic system. Maybe SV or SOV or something like that. That means verb initial, verb final or verb medial or something like that. Both should be kept apart so that the student's native language interferes as little as possible with the student's attempt to acquire the target language. The major objective of language teaching should be for students to attain the structural pattern, that is phonetic structure of word. How a word is formed and what are the phonotactic structure. Formation of lexical item, how a word is formed, how the derivation of a particular form is, lexical item is for example, boy, boys, monkey, monkeys or something like that, where some formation pattern is different. Formation and constituents of sentence or something like that. Then formalize and learn vocabulary afterwards. Then the concept of speech is more basic to language than the written form. So to master a language, one has to speak more than to write the thing. A natural order, the order children follow when learning their native language. Skill acquisition is listening, speaking, reading and writing. Then here, the concept of theoretical linguistics seeks to study the nature of human language and how it is represented in adult native speakers' knowledge. Linguistic theory aims to explain the nature of human language in terms of basic underlying principles, like what is the structure of a word, morphological structure, the phrase structure, or the sentence structure, as like Chomsky has given S is equal to NP plus VP or something like that, or something like that. Linguists study and describe the structure of natural languages in order to gain the better understanding of those principles. 4 areas of linguistic theory are phonetics and phonology, where they study the sound pattern, sound system, sound pattern and sound structure. Then morphology, the study of word structure and its connections with the sound and sentence structure. That means word formation, inflection and derivation. Then we have got syntax and semantics, the study of sentence structure and how it constrains meaning and interpretation. Then we have languages acquisition, the historical linguistics and language change and so many things. Then language acquisition usually refers to the gradual development of ability in a language by using it naturally in communicative situation. Language acquisition is concerned with how the child acquires knowledge of language through input from the environment. Noam Chomsky suggested that language is an innate faculty, that is to say that men are born with a set of rules about the language in their minds, which they refer to as the universal language. Universal grammar is the basis upon which all human language is built. One be able to study language and determine the rules based on the patterns he hears and the patterns of the language. Then theories of language acquisition, child language acquisition are so many theories we know behaviorist theory, inner hypothesis, social interaction, communicative approach and so many things. Then considering which language, linguistic knowledge, which areas of linguistic knowledge is robust and which is fragile. Differences between L1 acquisition and L2 acquisition. Differences in the nature of linguistic knowledge. One language has one type of knowledge and the other language has the other type of knowledge. How to formulate, for example, inflection language is different from isolative language. Isolative language is different from agglutinative language, and it goes like that. Then the question is about grammar. Is a device for generating sentences. That is what Chomsky says. Grammar is the art of writing a language. A language can be broken down into clear classes or categories. System of analyzing language by categories. It tries to apply the analysis of the structure were called grammars. Then there are some categories of grammar like prescriptive grammar, descriptive grammar. Prescriptive grammar is thinking about language as a incorrect or correct, as good or bad or something like that. Descriptive grammar is concerned about the describing the understanding the linguistic behavior community without judging whether it is a right or not. Correct grammar of not or not, something like that. Then there is a concept called generative grammar, communicative grammar, pedagogical grammar, readjoining grammar. There are so many grammar formalism which discusses various aspects of grammar of language. And as we have seen, there are levels called the phonetic level or phonological level, the lexical level, morphological level, syntactic level, semantic level, and pragmatic level, then discourse level, and goes like that. There are so many levels linguists identify based on the levels. Then the phonetic level, we have place of articulation refers to where this mouth and sound are produced and how the articulation, lip or tongue or teeth are positioned during the production of a sound. For example, bilabial, bi means two, when both the lips come together to into each other, that is B or B in bag or M in man. This can be seen, I mean, the sound can be articulation of sound and its features can be extracted through, or you have the IPA symbol or IPA website is there. You can go and give a sound and also give a letter and you will see what is its pronunciation and all these things. Then we have manner of articulation. Manner of articulation means based on the manner. That means plosives are produced when vocal tract is totally blocked. Then fricate no total blockage. Affricate is local, liquid, glides, nasal or something like that. So produced with a lower rhythm, so air flows into nasal cavity or something like that. Then there is the concept of morphology, the study of word and how they are composed is called morphology. Morphemes are the smallest grammatical unit, independent unit of the meaning. That means is and am are two forms of the same concept be. So is and are, am, all are forms of the same be or something like that. That once you familiarize the concept, then it will be very easy for you. Then the syntactic functions, something like a subject, object, verb. That means verb in final position. Then some language will be, for example, English will be subject, verb, object, or something like that. Subject is the word that perform the function. Object is the word. These are the classical definition of something like that. Then we have recent developments like communicative language learning, corpus-based language learning, where we have at least seen some of the papers earlier. Now I am just concluding. The dual relationship between linguistics and language teaching is important for language pedagogy. Continuing developments in linguistic theory and language teaching theory, as well as the constant changes in the language itself, demand the permanent study of language and the relation between linguistic theory and the language teaching or language pedagogy. Thank you so much.
For this lovely presentation on the importance of linguistics in language education. Thank you, Professor. Now, our second presenter is the research scholar, Faiz Anam. Are you available, Faiz?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, sir. Could you please give me...
Faisal Anam.
Yeah, I'm here,
yeah,
sir.
Faisal Anam, Department of English Language Scholar at Department of English Language and Literature, TKM College of Arts and Science, Kulam, University of Kerala, India. He will give a presentation on approaches, methods, and techniques in language learning and overview. Please start your presentation, Faisal Anam. Mr. Faisal?
Yeah, I'm here, doctor. So, are my slides visible?
Dr. Amin? Yeah.
Yes, they are coming. They are coming. Yes, maximize, please. Make it full.
Okay, now it is okay.
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, I'm audible.
You are very audible.
Yeah, my voice is clear.
Yes, my dear. You can just go to the first slide.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mursal Haidara, and also thank you for the organizers for this webinar, for giving me this opportunity to present my paper here. Actually, it is very difficult task for me to present after the presentation of Professor Shanafaz, but I will do my best. let me take you to the title of my presentation, that is Approaches, Methods, Techniques in Language Learning, and Overview. So I mean here I'm referring to the English language learning. So let me start with the language. So I don't want to go in details in this concept because have been discussed by the previous presenter, but I can share with you two concepts or two things. Language, it is something which is learned because it's used as a means of communication. As a language, we need to communicate with each other, so we need language. And humans need to communicate and interact with each other in order to express their ideas and feelings and thoughts among each other. So, and I can move to learning. What do you mean by learning? Learning means acquisition of knowledge. Actually, if we don't know something before, so we have to learn it. In that time, we acquire some knowledge about that thing, and we learn that thing. And also, it is a change in behavior as a result of experience or a result of practice. Then, according to Alan Birchard, he defines learning as the individual process of constructing understanding based on experience from a wide range of sources. Then, what do you mean by language learning as a whole? The language learning takes place either formal or informal. So we can learn language formally by going to the classroom, sitting inside the classroom, listening to the teachers, participating with the teachers, and in that thing we can learn a language. And in another side, we can learn a language informally in the community, with the conversation with the community, speaking with people outside the classroom, and also we can learn the language inside our home by following or watching TV, following movies. Then the language learning will be occur if the learners feel security for the learning process. For example, if the learners go to the classroom and feel very comfortable with the teacher, and the teacher motivate and encourage him, so definitely he will learn the language, and vice versa. Then what is the purpose of language learning? Is to learn how to use the language to communicate in the right way. Then we can come to approach, and approach, it is a set of principles, beliefs, and ideas about the nature of language, about the nature of learning, or about the nature of teaching that is translated in the classroom. And also it is a theoretical view of what language is and how it can be learned. As we know, we have many examples of approaches, but according to the limitation of time, I'm going to give a little bit about, or briefly about, two approaches, that structural approach and functional communicative approach. So a structural approach, it is considered learning language as it is in focusing on grammar and syntax to learn a language. So it means it produces a lot of sentences. Then in that sentences, learning language can be happen. Then focus on rules memorization. The structural approach, he emphasized on memorize the rules and grammar to achieve a high level of proficiency in a language. Speaking and listening skills are also emphasized and focused through the structural approach. Then functional communicative approach, it is emphasizing on spoken language over written language. Consider that language is a way of communication, not as a set of grammar rules as we discussed in the structural approach. Then we come to the method. So we mean by method, it is a systematic way of doing something, or we can say that method is the application of theories that introduced by the approach, and that application, or it is applied inside the classroom according to many steps. And also method, it is detailed steps and procedures followed by the learners in language learning. We have also many methods, and I will discuss briefly also for four or five methods. So I can start with grammar translation method. So at the time of teaching or at the time of learning, So the grammar translation method, it is focusing on the mother tongue. So it ignores the target language, and they give much importance for the mother tongue in order to achieve learning or teaching. At the same time, learner inside the classroom at the time of using grammar translation method, inside the classroom, learner is passive. He didn't get, or he doesn't get a chance or the opportunity to practice, to express his idea and feelings and participate in the classroom. Only he is sitting inside the classroom, listening to the teachers, and also apply the orders that coming from the teachers. Then vocabulary and grammar are emphasized also. Reading and writing skills are the primary skills that students depends on, whether the other skills are neglected and ignored in the grammar translation method. Direct method also there is, and also by the way, I would like to mention here a direct method. What I have, what I have got it from this webinar yesterday. One presented tell some information about that. He summarized that. He said direct method means using English or teaching English by English. So it means no chance for using the mother tongue. Only they focus on the target language. The students are very active because they have the opportunity to communicate their skills and also to practice and to participate. So their communication skills will be developed. Then oral communication skills are built up in a carefully grade. That it is the purpose of direct method. Then the audio-lingual method that gives a great importance. It is attached to pronunciation. Very little use of the mother tongue by the teachers only inside the classroom. Maybe he sometimes not familiar with the students themselves inside the classroom. So in this situation, the teachers, they have to, or not, they are going to use the mother tongue to convey the meaning to the students, and they can understand easily. Then we have the silent way method, that teacher silence encourages students to produce as much as language as possible, because the role of the teacher in this method is as a facilitator of the learning process. Then the role of the students will be active. Then they talk a lot and they participate. Learning also in this method is facilitated if the learner discovers or creates rather than remembers and repeats. So here the students depends on their creation and their discovery to learn the language rather than remembers and repetition is there. Learning also is facilitated by accompanying physical objects coming to the class with the real physical objects. Then the meaning of that thing or the vocabulary will stay longer in the mind of the students by watching to the, okay, I'm going to finish. Then techniques. So what do you mean by techniques? Various activities done by teachers or students in the classroom. Technique also is something that actually takes place in language teaching or learning in the classroom. Then I come to conclusion. Approach. What conclusion is a set of assumptions dealing with the nature of the language and the nature of the teaching, the nature of learning. Whether approach, it is an method, an overall plan for systematic presentation of language based upon a selected approach. Then techniques, it is specific activities used in the classroom that are consistent with the method and therefore in harmony with an approach. So in this diagram we see here, that's approach, that the big part, and the other one is method, and the last small one is techniques. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you.
Informative presentation. Now it is time to introduce Dr. Amin Al-Gamal. He is going to give a presentation on teaching beyond the concept of method. Dr. Amin, are you available? Dr. Amin, yeah, make your
I should not be missing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's myself, Amin Ali Al-Gamal. I am an English teacher in the English language department at Faculty of Education, Thamar University in Yemen. and I have completed my PhD in linguistics, specifically in phonology and English language teaching at the University of Kerala, and my master's and bachelor were from King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, KSA. So I will go directly to my topic. My topic has been already discussed, which means that my presentation is over. I will not make it long because all the people are speaking about the methods, and now we are going also to speak about beyond the concept of method. We need up-to-date teachers. And you know what happened in the beginning of 2020? When the schools were closed and universities, they were closed. No one has opened even online. Why? Because the teachers were not prepared for an alternative method, which means to teach online. So the most influential and widespread method was using the WhatsApp. Why WhatsApp? Because we are familiar with that WhatsApp. I myself, in the beginning of 2020, I was suffering with Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classrooms, and all these online teaching tools and mediums. And that's why today we become very familiar with these tools, and we are coping with the situations, and we are becoming up to date. We are dealing with the situation, and now we are teaching online instead of offline. So in the past 100 years, we have observed a number of methods, as my dear Faisal, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, and Professor Lab, all the people have spoken about these issues, and hence brand names have been proposed, and even schools were opened under the names of the founders of the methods. And if we take just a quick background, I will not make my presentation long. We have this history from the grammar translation method, which appeared in the 18th century, and then the direct method and the audiolingual method, which is called the army method. That one has been developed in America, specifically after the Second World War, where they trained their soldiers and people to be familiar with the other languages, especially the lands that they were occupying. So the silent way was there, and then the CLA and many others. And these are the approaches, like the structural approach that takes care of the vocabulary and grammar and the reading, then Suggestopedia and de-Suggestopedia today, the total physical response and all these. And we come to the communicative approach. And today we have post-communicative approach, because the latest was the communicative, that we should teach the language communicatively. But now we are beyond that notion and that concept. Let's here look at 4 opinions. They are expressing their opinions on the methodologies, the strategies, the techniques of teaching the languages and learning the languages. For example, Richard and Rogers, they have the opinion that applying procedures and techniques developed by others. They mean here, we have researchers at universities and we have teachers at schools. Those researchers and professors in the universities, they are developing theories. And who is consuming? The teachers at schools. Here, there is no compatibility, which means that the teacher is consuming something that sometimes he doesn't understand. And that's why we fail as teachers at schools to follow these and apply the methods of different teaching methods at our schools. But the point of Richard and Roger is that for inexperienced teachers, it is okay. It is fine to read about the methods and strategies of teaching and try to follow them until you become fine. Once you are okay, you can start proposing and applying your theory, as we will come next in the next slides, which means you should practice what you theorize, and theorize, which means you develop theories from your teaching. Don't wait for others who are far from you, who don't know your situation, your class, and your school, and they propose solutions for you. So here, the second opinion is by Brown. By Brown here, he's stating that methods are too prescriptive. Professor Shanabas has defined the term prescriptive, which means they are like when you go to the physician, to the doctor, and then the pharmacist, then he gives you prescriptions that take this, and take that. So you are going to be restricted and under constraints. And the third opinion here, he argues that the methods represent interested knowledge by those who are dominant. For example, most of the methods come from the West, and they need us to apply them in our environment. which means that my environment, for example, in Yemen, is a foreign language. We barely hear somebody speaks English or going to school to learn English. So it is very difficult for us to take all the ideas from the other powers and apply them in our societies. We should develop, such skills, such approaches, such methodologies that cope with the situation and how we can get our learners benefit from learning such a language, because we need the outcome. The outcome should be productive. So the fourth opinion, and this opinion is by Kumara Develu. He has developed what is called post-method approach. And this is a very recent production, and he has a book, contains 10 chapters. If somebody is interested, that's a great book, in fact, and I am planning to do even my further studies on the post-method era, or the post-method approaches. So what he said here, he said that there is a best method out there, ready and waiting to be discovered. There are other methods, they need somebody to discover them. For example, now, in the situation of 2020, we are not using most of our traditional approaches and even tools, the chalk, the whiteboard, even the whiteboard that has been introduced lately after the blackboard. Now it is not anymore used. We are using now technological devices. So there are many other methods that are waiting for us as researchers and educators to discover. He said in the second point, method constitutes the organizing principle for language teaching. And then the method has a universal. Please, those who are interrupting, mute yourselves. Now, the theorists, as we have mentioned in the beginning, in the introductory part, there are people who are theorizing, and they are sending their theories to the teachers to apply them. The teachers suffer to understand the method or the theory rather than to apply it. So he is arguing in that point. And here, as a post-method teacher, what are our rules? Our rules will be like to be autonomous. We should be independent. We shouldn't be dominated by many theories that we don't apply. They don't work in our environment, because every class is unique. Even every student is unique. We cannot produce as many theories as the number of students, but the teacher can do that in his school or in her school. And we are in fact, we are still there in the center, because there are some approaches or some ideas that say, eliminate the middleman. The middleman is the teacher. How can we eliminate the middleman? And he is running the whole process. So we should be there in the center. Nobody can eliminate us. So similarly, we should be inquiry-oriented rather than information-oriented, which means we shouldn't spoon-feed the learners. We should help them in case of developing their critical thinking, how to ask questions, how to solve the problems. So problem solvers, teachers are very fine, and then we should be practitioners and researchers. I am so sorry to announce in this conference that many of the teachers at schools, they become only teachers. They never try to be researchers. We need to see some papers published from schools rather than from colleges and universities, because most of these colleges and universities papers are for recognition, for promotion, for being familiar with others, being popular. We need teachers from schools to report the situations that they are dealing with. I have conducted some research at schools, at classes, but it is only one-time research. It is sometimes one day visit, and then I generate the results and I make them general to the public. So we should be also self-analyzed. We have to equip our learners how to analyze, how to be analytical, how to be thinkers, rather than just to memorize and cram for the exams. Exams are only a mean. It is a mean for judging the level of the students, and sometimes there are smart students who fail, and there are the others who pass. And then this is the point of the post-method era supporters, that we should theorize from our practice. As teachers, we should develop theories from where? From our practices, from our teaching. Similarly, we should practice what we are going to theorize. Why I have to wait for somebody, sometimes he is not from my environment and he doesn't know our situation, to send me a theory. I can develop a theory based on my observation inside the class that I am handling. I hope that I will not take much time because we are waiting now for the next presenter who will present practically. So let me conclude with these points. Taking practical action to resolve classroom problems is of top importance for the teachers. Just take practical start. If you couldn't start in the past, start from now. And also we should design our micro strategies which match with our classroom context. And we have, even high techs and low techs, high techniques and high devices, low devices. We can start with the low devices that are free and accessible. But today we should cope with the situation and we have to deal with the high devices and high tools, like using the technology specifically as we are delivering our classes and helping our learners online. And unfortunately, we are missing them. We don't see them for a long time, but time will come and then we will meet again with more knowledge, more experience, and more skills. And the teachers should use different approaches and methods and understand when they might be useful. Yes, there is one method that works in one particular place. There is one approach that works also in another place, but not one particular approach or method for all the situations. We can, as teachers, read the theories, the approaches, then we can develop ours. We can design, which means, in short, we should be eclectic. We should be eclectic people and apply the eclectic approach. With this, I come to the conclusion to my presentation. Thank you, my dear friends, and I wish you all the best. And I invite Dr. Mursal to invite the next.
Thank you, Dr. Yes, thank you, Dr. Amin, for this insightful presentation, which highlights the importance of that the teacher should be creative in finding individual approach, because learners learn differently at different rhythms. So thank you, Dr. Amin. Our last presenter is Dr. Sajina Shokur. She's postdoctoral in linguistics, Government Girls Higher Secondary School, Madai, Kannur, Kerala. She will make a presentation on English education at higher secondary level in Kerala, perspectives of a teacher, trainer, and curriculum developer. Are you there, Dr. Sajina?
Yes. Yes, I'm available here in the dais.
Yes. Yes, please make your presentation. Give your presentation.
So my topic is, good evening, one and all. My topic is English education at higher secondary level in Kerala with the perspectives of a teacher, trainer, and curriculum developer. And this is the result of my personal experience as a teacher, practicing teacher, and a trainer in the field level training, and a member in the curriculum development team with the State Council of Educational Research and Training in Kerala. So the thought is triggered by the stark reality in the present education scenario in Kerala, that even after 12 years of schooling, with English as a compulsory subject, the students left the school. Students generally leave the school with a lot of inhibitions, and they are not competent or they are not effective user of language. So I propose a learning teaching model which is named Kata model, that is karate, that's a portmanteau word for karate and tai chi. And it comes from my two studies, doctoral study and postdoctoral study, which establishes a link between the first doctoral study, which established a link between the martial art karate and linguistic performance in English. And the second postdoctoral study that established a link between another martial art tai chi and teaching effectiveness. So because of the time constraint, I think I should do some demo, some 2 or 3 techniques I have used. I have done a case study with this karate and tai chi on an experimental group, and it was successful. And in the end, the results were that it improved karate training to the learners, improved their 4 basic skills, LSRW, and the 42 form Tai Chi, that martial art, when it was given as a positive intervention to the practicing teachers, they have improved to a considerable amount in their teaching efficacy and linguistic competency. So I would, as requested by Dr. Amin, I would go for a demonstration of some techniques, which I have incorporated in my method. Okay, with your kind permission, let me.
Yes. Okay, now Dr. Sajina will present her topic practically. She will demonstrate how she conducted her research, and I hope that you will entertain. I will just show the camera. She is here, and she will be acting practically on her topic. No sound, right? You are not going to speak. No sound. In this practice, there is no sound. She will, everything will be like silent, and so don't panic that there is no audio, because this practice is done silently. The first one was karate. The first act was karate. Now she will go to Tai Chi. So now she will explain how these kind of martial arts sports help the learners in terms of holding the pens and etc. She will explain. Come please.
Because of the time constraint and space constraint, I could not demonstrate fully what I have given to the students and the teachers. So only a few moments were demonstrated now. So from the first one, it was a karate. It was the black belt kata I have given to the students as part of my experimental package. And from the 30 hours of karate training, it has been found that their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills were improved much better than the substantially more than the control group. And I have proposed the theory of karate. My theory is given as karate, K-A-R-A-T, and it is karate as reinforcement and teaching English. The acronym is karate. And the theory states that if adolescent learners are taught English along with karate lessons in proper sequential order, the latter shall act as reinforcement, modifying their personality factors and learning strategies, and subsequently producing desirable learning outcomes, especially the basic linguistic skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And that was the theory I proposed after my doctoral study, which established the link between martial art karate and linguistic performance in English. And my topic, then the second one, my postdoctoral study, it was with the topic effectiveness of Tai Chi on language teaching. And for the teachers, I have selected Tai because it was so slow, rhythmic, as you have seen in the second session. But karate was more brisk, and it requires a lot of energy. Actually, Tai also requires a lot of energy, but it does while doing it, we do not feel that we are exerting ourselves. So that is why it is given for teachers of more more age. Then after the study, it was a one group pre-test post-test design, and 20 teachers were selected for doing this for the as the experimental group, and it established the relationship between teaching effectiveness and linguistic competency with Tai Chi training. And I have devised 3 sets of questionnaires: self-rating scale, peer rating scale, and student rating scale. And after that, it was found that the teaching effectiveness and linguistic competency has hiked from 70% to 85% according to the self-rating scale. And the according to the peer rating scale, that is the teachers, their colleagues rated them 35% to 75%. That also there was a hike. And the as far as student rating scales are concerned, the students also marked that there was a 50% improvement from what were the before Tai Chi training. And thus I have proposed a teaching learning model, a new approach to be used in the curriculum development for learners as well as the teachers. That is Kata model of language learning and teaching. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Now let's open our session for discussion. Can you share your comments? I call the participants to share their comments and raise their questions. Dr. Amin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now it is open for discussion. We are ready for the questions, the comments, any clarifications are required.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Question, please.
Yeah, participants, can you raise your questions, share your comments? Yes. Yes, please go. Come. Okay. Ask your question.
Thank you very much. Particularly, I would like to ask Dr. Fasil, Anma, and Dr. Amin. It was really, first of all, it was really a very nice presentation. We have learned a lot. Said this, you mentioned different types of language teaching methods and approach. And as you mentioned, currently we are practicing beyond methodist, which is a approach. However, some researchers still argue that the applicability of eclectic or beyond methods approach, because we have different learning styles, students have a different learning style, different strategies, different backgrounds. So they mentioned that it's very difficult to apply eclectic approach with a different kinds of students, because as you know, there is.
The question is clear. We got the idea, so I would recommend our researcher Faisal.
So they mentioned that we should come up with a new language teaching approach, which they propose a comprehensive language teaching approach, because methods and materials are integrated. So it's very difficult to integrate different kinds of language teaching methods in a specific classroom. So what do you say about this? Thank you.
This question is to Dr. Amin or
to both.
Dr. Anam?
Amin and
for both, I think.
Both of you, yeah, okay. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Faisal, are you still available?
Shall I start, Dr. Amin?
Yes,
with permission of
Mr. Faisal. Dr. Faisal.
Okay, with the permission from Dr. Amin, I can give my answer. Then maybe he complete the other part. So, according to my knowledge,
Dr. Amin,
so
giving
no,
you okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
is that
no,
okay?
no, I'm asking Dr. Amin to give you his permission. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's it. Thank you, doctor. So Actually, according to my knowledge, there is no method superior for the other. And it depends on the teacher and also depends on the lesson and the text he is going to teach. So I mean, for some teachers prefer to use grammar translation method, and we don't consider that grammar translation method is a bad method. So I mean, depends on the situation of the learners when they are, and also depends on the lesson, and according to the need of the teacher, how can he convey the message without disturbing the learners or without the disturbing for the language skills. That is from my side. Then the other side I will give to Dr. Amin to
thank you.
Yeah,
so
actually,
much.
it is
You are right.
actually Dr. Amin.
Yeah, Dr. Mursal is right. You should take
Actually, it is Dr. Amin who raised the question.
Yeah, well,
for the need of different method.
Yes, dear Amara, who asked the question about the eclectic approach. Let's put ourselves practically. And you have also wonderfully mentioned that we need new method. This is what I was also mentioned, not me. I have cited from some researchers. Anyhow, now let's imagine that there is a person who has lived for a number of years, and then he developed an experience in his life. Then this person is called experienced. He is experienced. He never repeats the mistakes, the errors, the problems, unless they happen accidentally. This is the teacher. As long as he is there in the class and dealing with the students, by the passage of time, he will come to be collective teacher, in which he will apply the eclectic approaches, which means 1 year he applied one method, the next another, then at the end, he has come with what the term eclectic. Eclectic means a collection of, a group of methods put together, and then based on the suitability of the environment, I apply the method or the collection of my experience. And here, the output is going to be fantastic and fruitful. Dr. Mursal, you are muted. Unmute yourself, please. Our chair.
Are there any further questions to be asked or comments to be shared? No further questions?
Yes, if you allow me.
Yes. Somebody wants to talk?
This is Ahmed. Yes, sir. This is Ahmed from Yemen.
Yes.
Is my voice clear?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, sir. It is a suggestion. I don't have any question. It is a suggestion for the organizers and the two departments in the two respected universities to make these 2 days, 20th and 21st of September, as an annual conference time. That would be great for the two universities. That would give us more opportunities to participate in the coming conferences, and it will be a good idea if you just make it annually, once a year, that in September 20th and 21st is a time for an international conference, and maybe next time other universities will join from Yemen and from India. That's it.
Thank you for your suggestion.
And the suggestion
actually,
by
this
the head of the Department of Linguistics in here in Kerala, and we have the pleasure. This is a very fantastic suggestion, and this is the benefit of the end of the day. In fact, this is a great idea, and we hope that it will be annually.
Excuse me.
So shall we conclude, Dr. Amin? Yeah. Question? Yeah. Ask, please.
I have a question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Amin, if you don't mind, please, I want you to answer my question. According here to the situation of Yemen, since we have started applying teaching online, to be really frank with you, we have so many difficulties applying teaching online with our students, especially that since we have been dealing with a communicative approach recently, not even for a long time, recently. So what do you think? I mean, is there any possibility to apply communicative approach using online teaching and I do appreciate if you'll answer my question. Thank you so much. And thank you for this amazing event.
And eclectic approach is a group of methods and techniques, tools, and now comes the online, idea and concept. And here we are suffering with the internet, for example, in Yemen. That's why we are not conducting our classes based on Zoom, which are heavy, applications and some other similar tools. That's why I can observe that most of the teachers, those who managed to do it online or to conduct classes online, they are using the WhatsApp groups. This is the most familiar app in Yemen available today. But we are looking forward to teachers who are using other apps, like for example Google Classroom, which have interactive, platform in which you can even generate the results of the students at the same time, give them the homework, assignments, everything through one place. But I do understand the situation in Yemen, specifically with the internet and with the present, dilemma that it is going on through now. But let's pray. Let's hope that the future will be brighter. As far as the eclectic approach is concerned, yes, we now online teaching becomes part of the process.
Thank you so much, and I'm really happy to join you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
Yes, sir, we can conclude your session, the wonderful session, and we are so happy that you have come back today instead of yesterday. Thank you, dear Dr. Mursal Haidara, the assistant professor in the University of Sheba in Ma'rib city in Yemen. Thank you very much, dear sir, and for your support, for your acceptance of the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Amin. I want to say a few words about this. I'm very pleased to be part of this relevant and useful conference, which brings scholars together, scholars who explores, investigates new methods that would increase the effectiveness of teaching English.
Thank you so much, sir. And we hope that all the participants have learned from the different approaches that have been presented, different people from different countries on different topics. And we will be sending the PowerPoints to those who will receive the certificates, because we will again check our report, who has spent the minimum time of attendance, and then we will generate the certificates. At the same time, we will send them later the PowerPoints to their emails. So thank you very much for being with us, and we wish you all the best, sir, and hope that we will meet again, either in our universities in Yemen or in such occasions like the present one. Thank you, sir.